When I first played The Call to the Lamb, I was immediately blown away. It was a dream come true that this game actually existed, as it seemed like a perfect blend of two games I had a lot of interest in, The Binding of Isaac and Stardew Valley. I've sunk hundreds of hours into The Binding of Isaac, and although I hadn't played Stardew Valley, I loved the art and how peaceful it all seemed. Having a dungeon crawler and a farm sim with a darker undertone really breaks up the gameplay and stops it from becoming monotonous. The plot of this game is to kill the 4 bishops who locked up their brother, the One Who Waits. After being sacrificed, we're saved by the One Who Waits, who gives us powers so we can rise up against the bishops and break the chains that keep him locked up. We grow a demonic cult, providing us with resources and abilities, which in turn allows us to become more powerful, with the occasional distraction of course. I really struggled to defeat these bosses, especially the final boss against the One Who Waits, so when I noticed there was an update added to the game which included a boss rush mode, I saw this as a perfect opportunity to pick this game up again and defeat these bosses back to back as a true test of skill. I decided to do this with the Berserker Fleece. When equipped, I deal 10 times damage, but if I get hit once, it's all over. There are 10 fleeces in this game, each giving different advantages and their respective disadvantages, but this is the one I thought to be the most challenging. There are 6 different boss rushes with each fleece, each one getting progressively more difficult as you go on. The last 2 have an obscene number of rooms you need to complete, which I didn't think added much and probably would have taken a couple of years off my life, ending with 20 rooms you have to complete back to back without getting hit once. To me, this didn't seem like much fun, and if it isn't any fun doing it, then there's not going to be much fun in watching it, so my goal was to end with the 4th boss rush, the first one to have all the main game bosses together in one go, with one mini boss between each one. To put it lightly, my first attempt didn't go too well. After I got warmed up, this first boss rush wasn't too bad. Each fight was against a mini boss that didn't pose much of a challenge. After each mini boss, you get a choice of a new weapon, curse or relic. These each have their own benefits, but some are definitely better than others, such as the Divine Guardian curse, which gives 2 seconds of invincibility, which is amazing for me not being able to take a single hit. Now would be a good time to mention the weapons. There are a total of 6 different types: swords, axes, daggers, gauntlets, hammers, and finally, blunderbusses, which are essentially guns. Some are definitely better than others, more specifically the daggers and axes. These allow you to stay further away from the bosses and deal huge damage when you use their heavy attacks. The others in my opinion don't compare, as either too weak, slow, or you have to get too close. The annoying thing is you can't directly choose the weapons you get, and this can be a bit of a problem. The second boss rush has you fighting mostly the same enemies, but the final fight is against one of the 4 bishops, which for me ended up being the first one you encounter in the game, Leshy. Of course there was the occasional frustrating moment as I'd expect, but I'd managed to get to him with quite a decent setup. Now boss rush 3 is where things got difficult. This is where you have to beat the 4 bishops back to back. The only weapon and curse you get are the ones you pick up at the very start. Beating the bishops doesn't provide you with any new equipment. This only happens after beating mini bosses, of which there are none, so I kept dying over and over due to my bad equipment. I struggled most against the second bishop, Hecate. Hecate spawns in enemies after taking a certain amount of damage and only returns once they're all defeated. I couldn't stop getting hit by them, so killing her before this happened would be the way to go. The last 2 bishops are Calamar and Shamura. Calamar can be really tough, but I could typically take him out before he did any of his attacks, but there is definitely a luck element involved in this approach. Shamura provided less trouble than Calamar, but still took quite a few hits to take down, so learning the attack patterns is essential. I'd go as far as saying this is my favourite fight in the game, as the attacks are relatively predictable, but still provides a good challenge. I finally beat him though, and boy did that feel good. Now I was on to the final stretch. I thought this would be easier than the 3rd boss rush, as I finally had mini bosses to fight to give me better weapon drops and a chance to get the invincibility curse to make the final fight easier, but this didn't turn out to be the case at all. Despite the benefits, there were still 10 fights to get through, and at the end of the day, that's an extra 6 fights to get hit in. Luckily, there are split paths so you can choose what path to take, meaning you could pick a non-combat room when the opportunity called for it, but I rarely found them useful and they were more of a wasted room, so picking a mini-boss was typically better because at least I had a chance of getting a better weapon. As I said earlier, the final fight is against the One Who Waits. At the start of the fight, there are 2 minions that fight you, Aim and Baal. Baal attacks you first, but you can stop him from attacking at all if you keep your distance, so he's quick work. Aim, on the other hand, starts in the middle of the arena and starts attacking almost immediately. I died several times trying to hit him before he could get a move off, as it only took 1 or 2 hits to finish him, but this tended to end worse for me than it did for him. After these 2 had been taken out, the real fight starts. Funnily enough, he can't land a single hit before he gets taken out due to my insane damage output, but phase 2 is much harder. His hitbox is on his 3 eyes, which will go underground after taking a certain amount of damage, so you can't kill him quickly. The projectile attacks come at you fast and can be tricky to deal with, which has taken me out more times than I'd care to admit. No! I finally got lucky enough to get a relic which has a 50% chance to grant a heart upon use, which are odds I'd happily take. Unfortunately, health effects were removed after leaving the room, which I had to learn the hard way, so I saved it the whole time and entered the last fight. Hopefully I get a heart from this. I'd love to. Yes! Work! If this works, oh my god. I deserve this if it works. Okay, please carry over. Please! I'd be so happy if this carries over. Let me keep the hearts. Let me keep the hearts, please. Come on. Oh, please, Count, still let me have the hearts, please. I'm begging you. Let me keep the heart. Ah, oh, please, give me this, please. See if we can do it hitless anyway, if I do keep it. Come on, please. Yes! Well deserved. By no means is this guaranteed. Oh! This is really hard. Okay. No! Get away! Come on, get her! No! Yes! Oh! I did it! Oh my god! I did it! I did it! Oh my god! Oh my god! Finally! Oh! Thank you! I'm so happy! Dude! You had no idea how hard that was. God, just getting that was hard enough. Oh. Oh, I'm so happy. There's only a 50% chance as well. Oh, but I did it. Oh. 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 It feels good. It feels good. Oh. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I do really appreciate it, and I will see you soon.